predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackie and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackie and Judd.
Welcome in. Happy holidays to everyone. Mackie and Judd working our way to Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Vikings Packers this weekend, so be sure to be there right after that game is over. This is the most innovative, high-wire, risky segment in all of sports talk. It's a segment we like to call Write That Down. And today it's going to be presented by our friends over at Lake Ridge Liquors, Dex. If you're looking to stock up for maybe a little New Year's Eve action or something, Lake Ridge Liquors in Vadnais Heights, not a bad place.
That's right. You got New Year's Eve on Saturday. You got Vikings Packers on Sunday. So, maybe you celebrate with a couple different bubblies on Saturday and Sunday. Maybe you need a little hair of the dog before you go into Vikings and Packers on Sunday. Plenty of options at Lake Ridge Liquors. They have a great 40-foot long whiskey wall. They have numerous wines in stock, tons of Surly beer product for the sports dad and others like that as well. And when you go check out, mention SCORE, my guy Jared will hook you up and you'll join their rewards program. And on your second visit, they will comp you $5 in rewards. You get rewarded for going to the liquor store, which is one of the best perks of all time, in my opinion. So go check out Lake Ridge Liquors off Vadnais Heights, off 694 and Rice Street.
Amen. All right, here's how it works. 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. That's really the only rule here on Mackie and Joe. We're the only show in America that actually puts stats next to our predictions and keeps track over the course of the days, months, and years. We can track a batting average and home runs on the show. And listeners, if you want to participate, like Nate is about to, just send us a message through the SCORE North app, and we'll get you scheduled for sometime early in 2023. Boys, Declan has been dominating the Mackie and Judd Write That Down batting average. We have a lot of drama in the home run race here, but we've got an accountability session that's pretty juicy here. Let's start with Judd. Not a great week for Judley. Not a great week
my
for
last
you.
5.
Well, you said the Wild would get at least a point in each of their next 5 games. They did not get a point against, was it San Jose?
It was the 5th game, too.
Yeah, it was.
I was red hot. I was on a heater.
And then haven't they now won the last 2 after this? I mean, they're on fire, but it was the one game
really
that screwed you. You said Bruce Boudreau would be fired before Christmas. He still has a job.
Yep.
Is he going to get fired? Does he?
So.
Eventually. Oh, yeah. He's a goner.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all coaches in hockey get fired at some point, but. And then you said, I think we can take this off the board here in the last couple of days before the end of the year. You said Adrian Peterson will sign with another NFL team this season. I think his career is pretty much a wrap, right?
The XFL is still out there.
It's true.
He should.
He might. Mm-hmm. He needs the money.
He'd be a great attraction.
I think he's broke.
I'm sure they would overpay him as kind of an attraction, right?
Yep.
I don't know what those guys make, but just give Adrian Peterson more and let him go out there and do his thing.
But yeah,
I mean, for God's sakes, the guy's taking boxing matches. Like, he'll probably do something in there. So
he's got to pay some bills.
All right, I told you guys that one of the 2 teams in that Vikings-Giants game would score exactly 25 points. Pretty close. One of them scored 24.
Tough beats. Some tough beats so far.
Okay, listeners had a lot of things come off here. 4 things came off the board. Another Nate said the Wild would not lose a game for the rest of December as of December 21st, but they did. They lost the 1 game. Said the Vikings would beat the Giants by exactly 27-22. They were just a safety away.
Damn, that would have been
At least
awesome.
the Giants were. It's a pretty good prediction there.
But close as well.
22 is a tough point total. Zach said the Twins will not sign Carlos Correa, which was correct, but they will add one of these pitchers. Chris Bassett, Sean Manaea, Noah Syndergaard, or Nathan Eovaldi.
All gone.
Yeah, Eovaldi signed yesterday.
The Rangers.
For like $34 million guaranteed or something.
Is Manaea somewhere yet?
I thought he did sign somewhere. Let me Google that real quick here. Let's see. Just want to make sure.
Syndergaard went to the Dodgers. Bassett, I think, went to Toronto, right?
The Giants, Manaea.
Manaea to the Giants.
Okay. All gone.
So what do they? There's nothing. Is there anything to spend money on? I mean, they
No,
can make
they'll
a
have
trade
to-
for an expensive
Yeah,
player,
they'll,
right?
they'll have to
Yeah,
trade.
Carlos
you know.
Correa. You can still spend on Carlos Correa if you want. I think
Is
he's
he
going cheap.
technically still a free agent?
He hasn't
Yeah.
signed.
Yeah, the Mets thing is it's a potential disaster again.
What are they worried about?
Ankle?
Yeah, he broke his leg in 2000 and what, like 14
Like
or something. And it's
So
showing
they're worried
up.
about like degenerative like
Yeah.
leg problems or
Yeah,
something.
because they're 12-year contracts and 10-year
Yeah.
contracts. I mean, it's a lot different to sign a guy to a basically a 1-year contract and he's going to opt out, right?
Yeah.
But like if you're like, oh yeah, dude, I'll give you a 350 mil for 12 years. I want some guarantees you ain't gonna like break down in year 4.
I love all these stories now that are coming out. Like, well, the Twins had some questions about his medicals too. Like everything's about, well, the Twins offered this, the Twins had this. The Twins were never, and I repeat, never an option for Carlos Correa. They
Well,
were only leveraged this entire time.
I'm more concerned that they didn't red flag this, like it didn't come out that they had red flagged this ever. But
Well,
digress.
the Twins weren't going to red flag it. Oh, you want to play for us for a year and then maybe play for us again? Sure. Oh,
we
you
got Correa, we got Paddock, we got Maley, we've got
Sonny
look
Gray.
at all these guys. Look at all these guys we've got who are hurt.
Well, thank you to Zach for his Twins prediction, allowing us 3 minutes of Twins venting
not getting
there
that
here
bad.
on Mackie and Judd. Appreciate that.
Declan wanted to avoid. Coming up next on Bally Sports North,
Ending
what
the
other
recording.
injured player can the Twins sign?
Ex-Twins news then came in and said Justin Jefferson will break the Vikings' single-season receiving yards record and move into 9th place on the team's all-time list. He had to do the first one to get the second one. I think
Home run.
it was fairly likely that this was going to happen because you knew
Still.
he came close,
Oh,
but
it's a
it's
home
got to
run.
be a home run
Yep, it's a home run.
because you predicted before the season. Okay, Declan, you had one thing come off the board. You said Kirill Kaprizov will rack up at least 5 points in the last week. I think he had 2 points.
Yeah, slow
So-
week.
I'd look at benching him, maybe shuffle the lines.
Maybe.
Declan, 417 on the season, leading Judd by, my God, 85
Well,
points or so.
I'm struggling now though. Like Dex is
Oh.
actually coming back down. I'm just struggling. I'm over my last 5.
You missed your chance here. You had an
Yeah,
opening.
I did have an opening and I blew it.
I'm
That's
at
on me.
299, listeners at 271. The home run race is hot right now. Dex and the listeners tied at 15 bombs. I'm at 14 bombs. Judd languishing
It's
in the
not
power
hot for
department with
sports,
only
Dad.
9.
Languish.
It's not hot for sports, Dad.
All time, Judd leads with 253 career hits. Listeners lead with 34 career home runs. Let's get Nate in here, our guest listener predictor, on Write That Down today. Nate, what's going on, man? When did you first become a suffering Minnesota sports fan?
Oh yeah, it started, I'd say, back in early 2000s probably. So I'm
Oof.
20. I'm gonna be 29 soon. So I really got into it. I got past the '98 season, so I didn't have to experience that, but I heard plenty of it. So I'd say about the Culpepper days. Like I think my most vivid or earliest memory was the season where we kind of snuck into the playoffs. We were 8-8, and we beat the Packers.
Oh, 4.
Yep, that's right. So
That is probably a top 7 Minnesota sports moment for fans like you that like came along in the early 2000s.
mhm,
And I say
imagine.
that not like that's kind of sad, I guess.
It
is what I'm
is.
saying.
But yeah, I remember that too.
And yeah, so otherwise from Southeast Wisconsin. So I kind of grew up with surrounded by Bears, Packers fans, and kind of embraced a lot of the Milwaukee culture. But since moving up to Minnesota, last 7-8 years, I've really embraced the culture with the Twins and the Wolves. So it's been fun.
Yeah, the
been
tumultuous,
fun.
the
Wow, it's
tumultuous culture of the
How
Timberwolves.
sadistic are you? Yeah. The Bucks
they're-
won a championship and you had to watch this garbage.
By the way,
dumpster fire.
even Johnny Krasinski is now conceding in and like John does not overreact to things. When John comes in with like a heavy hand, it's usually very impactful. It means he's talked to people in the organization.
Cronkite. It's what, yep.
Yes, and even he is now saying, "What is going on with Rudy Gobert? Like, this is not the version of Gobert that you thought you were buying. Like, what happened to the guy that played for the Jazz? Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So it is a mess.
They
right
benched him at the end of the Heat game.
now. I know. It's it's not good. It's not good. We can maybe flesh that out here on a separate episode. Let's get to some predictions here. So, Nate, we're going to start with you. We're going to go around the room. Nate, Judd, Declan, and then back to me. 3 chips around. The predictions must be quantifiable in some form. Fire away, Nate.
All right. So I'm going to stick with the Wolves to get started here. Yeah, ever since that trade, I've been pretty, speaking in market terms, bearish on this team. I'd say I'm gonna go with the Wolves are gonna be at least 7 games or more under 500 by the All-Star break.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Dude,
gonna
Chris Finch is going to get fired, right?
That's going to
That's the case,
dovetail
and yes.
into my. That's going to dovetail perfectly into
I
my.
got
Write
one
that
too.
down,
All
baby.
right, go ahead.
It's like we talked. It's like we talked pre-show, but we didn't. Write this down. There will be a credible report that Chris Finch is on the hot seat before the end of the season, or he will be replaced altogether. And by hot seat, the story has to say, obviously, the word fire. So, like, that's there will be a report because it's
What
going to
about
start with
dismiss? What if
it's
the
gonna
article
start
says
with that.
dismiss?
Any implication that he is. So it can't just be like, just some opinion. Chris Finch might be on the hot seat. It's going to be an article that says that he is not only on the hot seat, but could be fired, dismissed, pick your word, or the key thing here is, Declan, he will be replaced altogether. So I'm not going to say that before the season's done, he couldn't be fired.
Boy,
Okay.
this is okay. All right.
Write this down.
Go ahead, Dex.
Look at Phil.
This is dark.
I have a Wolves one too. Write this down.
They'll move.
The Wolves will trade
They're not.
Rudy Gobert before the start of the next season.
Dude. Oh
This
my
is the
God.
only season with Rudy
Well,
Gobert.
Can you do
basically.
that if you're Tim Connolly? Can you do that?
Dukes threw it out that there is a faction of fans all saying now that you should basically try and cut your losses and trade him before the deadline, which you can do. I don't think he would do it.
But so what would you get? That's the problem. Like you'd be selling
wouldn't do it.
perception wise. His
Yeah.
play has not been good.
I don't think you can do it.
You'd have to probably also inherit like another bad contract from another team and maybe like picks. Like I don't know what it looks like. It could be completely up in the air. But this is the only season of Rudy Gobert, so write it down. He'll be traded before the start of the next NBA season.
How?
There's another option here. All right. And I'm going to screw it. I'll just make this prediction.
Write this down.
This was not on my script here. Okay. I had
Off
3
script.
other predictions lined up. But since we're going down the Wolves path here,
You're going off.
this will help Declan here too for how to frame this episode up. Write this down. Quinn Snyder will be the next coach of the Timberwolves.
Oh God.
And
Love
that
this guy.
I will say that will happen sometime. I'll just say sometime between now and September 1st. So the option there would be that you hang on to Gobert. Maybe you trade Cat or something and recoup because you'd get more if you traded Cat. And I'm not even saying we need to unpack all of this. I'm not even saying this is the right organizational
You're
move.
saying Utah?
But-
We're gonna be Utah.
But Quinn Snyder helped lead that Jazz team over the course of 8 years to multiple 50-win seasons with Rudy Gobert as the literal centerpiece next to Donovan Mitchell. So, and a couple, they had a 50-win season I think before Donovan Mitchell with Rudy. It was like Rudy Gobert and a bunch of just sort of B-level players. So could they double down? I guess what I'm saying is they're going to double down on Gobert by firing Finch and hiring his former coach.
They're going Utah. They're going to become Utah East, baby. Right. In fact, I got to switch this up now. I'm going to put Kevin McHale there.
Oh, he's putting Kevin McHale.
This has gone so
Bobblehead.
Wolves. I got to get it. Kevin McHale.
Amazing. All right, we're back to Nate here.
All right, so I'm going to go purple here. So write this down. JJ will have at least 2 receiving touchdowns at Green Bay this weekend.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like it.
There it is. Boy, if that happens, he should do the fake moon thing like Randy Moss. Just bring it all
would be great.
back full circle.
Instead of the fake hamstring thing, quit doing the
Yes.
fake. Quit doing the fake hamstring thing.
it does. It
Makes me nervous every time.
What do
I just don't. And it's not. There's nothing to it. Like it's not like cool.
Well, it's not cool for you.
It's
I mean,
not cool for you.
yeah.
It's
Write
cool
this
for the
down.
kids.
it is
Okay,
cool
well
for
the kids got to listen to Sports Dad here and not do it. So My first prediction came off what Dukes shared with us on the bonus scoop on Tuesday. So I'm going to stay on that path because there was some juicy Wolves speculation. I didn't realize this till Dukes mentioned, I think it was last Thursday or Friday, Sportico, which is now basically the Sports Business Journal's replacement. Sportico has a big piece, and I read it after Dukes talked about it, a very cryptic piece about Laurie and A-Rod's next purchase of the Wolves, how much they're going to put in, how much they want to put in. But it also alluded to the fact that they're still trying to raise the funds. It was basically a soft sell of this is not done, and this deal itself was very sort of mysterious.
The whole time, I mean, the fact that it's been like a 3-year vesting deal. Like, why?
Exactly. And I think what they were trying to get at is be prepared for it potentially to fall apart. So write this down.
Oh God.
Mark Laurie and A-Rod will back out, will not complete their purchase of the Wolves, which has another year to go. But at some point in time, they're going to come up short in funds. That does not mean, though, so just to be clear, they own a percentage and that's theirs. So like they might not be gone entirely, but they will not be the majority owner of the Wolves, Declan.
Okay.
Can we put an end date on this? Otherwise,
It's got to be my next. It's got to be my next
year?
season. Yes, it's got to be within the next year, but I think it might fall apart sooner than that.
Oh, wow. Watch the Wolves rattle off like 6 straight wins, and in 2 weeks we'll be back here saying, "See, we never lost faith at all in this team."
And Glenn will just be very happy.
Love Glenn. All right, Dex.
All right, I'll make a wild prediction here. I'll break the streak here of nasty Wolves predictions and say between now and next week's Write That Down, the Wild will post a shutout. They will shut out an opponent. Just 2 games, I believe, between now and next week's Write That Down. So they have the Stars, I believe, and the Blues. The Blues are playing better. They're not great. Dallas is really good. Dallas is on top of the division, but the Wild will post a shutout between now and next week's Write That Down.
Okay.
Write this down.
All right, write this down. I'm going to spread. I have so many Vikings predictions. I'm going to spread one over here. You know what? Actually, I take that back. No, I'll do a Vikings one. I'll do a Vikings one.
All right.
Let's do this one. Write this down. KJ Osborne will have another 100-yard game this weekend.
Ooh, okay.
A 100-yard game this weekend for KJ Osborne or more.
Trying to will your fantasy league player into a big game. This is purely you with wishful thinking. That's awesome.
I am in the championship league of the championship round of the Hubbard TV League. Yes, the first sub 500 team to make the playoffs in league history has stumbled his way into the championship game, and he is starting KJ Osborne. If you're wondering whether my roster lacks depth,
Johnny Munt will catch 3 touchdown passes and go for 100 yards.
I'm not that desperate. Maybe I'll pick him up tonight off waivers just in case. Okay, we're back to Nate here for your third and final prediction, sir.
Write this down.
All right. So I've got my last one is going to be a Vikings prediction. This is, in my opinion, a grand slam. So in the NFC Championship game, the Minnesota Vikings will be down by at least 9 points. So 2-score game in the second half, and they will win the game. I was on Ventline a few weeks ago, Lions game, and I was talking about the identity of this team, and I think I found the identity, and I think you talked about it recently, and it's just that this team loves to come from behind. They just love it. So I'm going for it. I love it. Swinging for the fences.
Nate bringing the Vikings optimism and hope here. Awesome stuff on your Write That Down debut, Nate. Since you've got this life-changing platform on Mackey and Judd, is there anyone you'd like to thank that brought you to this moment?
Yeah, I'd love to thank my grandpa, rest in peace, and my dad for giving me the purple veins. Thank them, and it's been painful, but just got to go for the ride. And so that's what I've got. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Nate. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy
New
New
Year.
Year.
Again sometime.
Go Wolves.
And go Timberwolves. Yes,
go Timberwolves.
Let's go.
This is the place of Timberwolves excitement.
Well, speaking of our friend Chris Finch, I know a company that might give him a soft landing just based on his namesake if he has any sort of chops fixing electrical things around the home.
Oh, you were
Okay.
talking about our friend Cody Finch from Finch Home Solutions, a man who, by the way, has a game plan that works. Okay, he knows how to employ his personnel. He's not having problems. He knows where his employees should go and what they should do, and that means that if you have any electrical issues, Finch Home Solutions can solve them. That includes work to install things like, let's say you're going to put a hot tub in. I mean, this is the time of year, get that hot tub in. That's going to take some electrical work. Guess what? Finch Home Solutions can do it. Let's say you got flickering lights or lights are out. You don't know why. And this is not a do it yourself. Finch Home Solutions can help you. The key thing here is don't wait until something goes wrong. And Finch Home Solutions offering a free home safety inspection to all of our listeners. Be sure to tell them that you heard about Finch on Score North. Go to finchhomesolutions.com or give them a call, 612-357-2604, finchhomesolutions.com. Yes, Cody, unlike Chris, is in first place these days in what he does. And plus, he loves the Vikings. And so this has been a very successful year for Finch Home Solutions and Cody.
You know, the good news about a company like Federated Insurance is, and it's a shining example this season, they've been longtime partners of the Timberwolves. They stand by businesses through thick and thin. They have a long-term view, and maybe sometimes a very long-term view, but they're here with a guiding hand since 1904 to help your business maximize its level of success. Find out which industries Federated specializes in working with at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours.
Write this down.
All right, one more round here. Judd, what's your third prediction?
Okay, my third prediction is going to go back to my second prediction. I'm going to stay on the Wolves theme here, okay? Not only will the Wolves not be sold, or the majority of the team sold to Mark and A-Rod, Glenn Taylor will sell the team to a buyer with no caveat that it is kept in Minnesota. So when
wow, so you really think that this is all leading to the total demise of the franchise?
When the sale happens, I think that at some point in time, Glenn is going to say his family is more important than the team being here. And look, if you sold this team with no strings, the Phoenix Suns just sold for $4 billion. So now if I have to keep him here and battle to build an arena, it's going to be far less than that, as we see in the current sale. But think about this one. If I bail and say, I need to take care of my family and sell this team because I don't think the family has any interest, right? It's going to be a much easier sale, and it's going to come at a far higher price if there's no strings attached.
Wow. I can't decide if because sometimes your intuition is correct because you are the sports dad and you've seen decades of this
And
stuff.
sometimes I'm not.
But I still have a hard time believing that the NBA would move out of a top 14 media market when they want to expand anyways. They'd love to expand the league into Seattle, into Vegas.
I think that
and
the league
keep a top 15 market.
I think the league will work its ass off to make it work here and to get a building here. But my point is, if it doesn't have strings attached, the price goes up.
It is funny though that like whenever they lose a few games, which happens all the time in franchise history, we're like, they're gonna move. They're gone. Oh my God.
Well, the Sportico piece scares me more. It's a very soft way of saying this ain't going well.
Okay, but a couple things on this. A-Rod is the one that doesn't have money. Now, Laurie has a net worth. This is the other thing.
Yeah.
This is where like having a net worth doesn't equal having liquid cash to throw around. This is where people get it wrong in baseball. Like, well,
correct.
You know, the Polads are worth this much money. It's like, well, they don't just have like $1 billion sitting in a checking account waiting to write the checks for Carlos Correa's 17th season, to outdo the Mets offer. But, that's my question is how much liquidity does Mark Laurie have? Or is his net worth tied up in the value of the businesses that he runs?
Funny you ask that because the Sportico piece points out that they do not know if he is a billionaire. It says in the piece, we don't know.
Yeah.
So if there's some question there, what you just explained, Phil, might be dead on right.
Although he has spent his entire business career with two businesses specifically raising tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. So he's definitely a guy that could get people excited. He could get other investors involved in a group.
That's what they're trying to do.
Aren't Alex Rodriguez. But I guess my question would be if if you're the champion, you're going to get everyone fired up, and like the only guy that's coming with you is Alex Rodriguez.
Hey guys.
I need to see a couple other connections potentially.
Yes. And in the big picture of things, it's not like A-Rod made that much like he did for a baseball player, but in real life, he doesn't come to the table with like $1 billion.
Yeah, he's not like Mark Cuban is worth $4 billion, and his net worth is completely dwarfed by like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and all these other guys. So there's another level that A-Rod doesn't
Write this down.
Doesn't quite hit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dex, what's your third and final?
All right, Phil, I'm going to go with a wrestling prediction here. I don't know if you saw the vignette. I think it was 2 Monday Night Raws ago, but Cody Rhodes was back doing a little live interview with WWE, updating on his return and basically stating, I came back for one goal and one goal only, and that's to win the WWE Championship. So write this down. Cody Rhodes returns officially at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
Off
this
the
is, by the
record-
way, Judd, this is a complete 2-foot putt bunt
This is a
for
bunt?
my Declan. I just want you to know that.
This is a BS play.
I want you to know, this is a scripted sport or entertainment, and the Royal Rumble is where every injured wrestler that's ever lived comes back and
I
makes
just
a
want-
surprise return. So I
You
just
got
want people
the-
to know that. I like this, but total layup here.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I'm
Do
excited
you have
for
a
it.
second part to this, or do you
I was just going to say, he's going to come back at the Royal
Phil
Rumble.
just
It's going to be a
ripped
great
your
pop.
prediction. It was great.
No, it's fine. It's a scripted thing. I'm playing with house
You're-
money here. I'm going to
You
walk
just got
away with
called-
a batting average win. So
You
I'm
just
I'm
got
fine.
called, and you are now real.
I
and
pushed out
that-
2 predictions. I have a home run prediction off the board for next week if it comes true. I'm doing fine.
You thought that I was such a stooge that I wouldn't know, and then Phil called you out on your BS. And I like
Judd knows
that.
the Royal Rumble. Judd knows
Right
what it's
this-
all
I know the
about.
Royal Rumble, but I didn't know that this was a 2-foot putt. I thought it was at least
Hey,
a
I have a brand new putter in
bunt
the
up
bag
the third base
that I
line.
just got for Christmas back there, and I don't know if it's going to help me or not. Probably won't. if
It
I'm
helped you on
being
that
honest.
prediction.
It did.
All right,
Thank you.
write this down. Last prediction of the week. A New Orleans Saints parlay. This may seem out of left field, but stick with me here. I have a 3-item New Orleans Saints parlay. Sometime before April 1st,
Oh my God.
Dennis Allen gets fired. Sean Payton returns to the Saints. And they'll add a new quarterback with at least 50 career NFL starts.
What? Okay. Where did this?
There is a little steam in the
Start-
New York Post this week
Okay.
that Sean Payton has kept a great relationship with the general manager there, and that he may, Dennis Allen is, let's face it,
Interesting.
that he may go back to New Orleans. And then there's also a tie-in of like, well, those Sean Payton and Tom Brady tried to get together in Miami.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the Tom Brady piece will come together, but could you're not going to stick around with, if you're going to go back to the Saints, Andy Dalton's not going to be your starting quarterback, nor is Taysom Hill.
Red
So
Rocket.
Derek Carr could get cut by the Raiders.
Oh,
Tom
yeah.
Brady could be available.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers could still force his way out. You could buy low on Russell Wilson.
So
Jimmy G.
where could Peyton go? Because he's not going to the Broncos. That's not going to happen.
That's the thing. The other options
The
are kind of
Chargers
drying up.
now aren't going to,
They're not firing Staley anymore.
They made the playoffs, so yeah. So exactly right.
The Cowboys, I could still see the Cowboys firing Mike McCarthy if they get smoked in the first round. Like some embarrassing loss or something, and Jerry Jones says, all right, enough of this BS.
Yeah.
But the options are drying up a little bit more than maybe a few months ago. Something to keep an eye on. The Broncos are basically a non-option if Sean Payton wants to use Vic Fangio as his defensive coordinator, right? Is Fangio going to go back as the coordinator for the team that I think is still paying him as a head coach?
Like, you might have real questions about Russ now.
Well, but here's the thing. Like, let's say he goes to New Orleans. Let's say Sean Payton goes back to New Orleans.
Yep.
And the Broncos are just shell-shocked by all of this, right? Okay, we just fired our coach. Probably going to fire George Payton, the GM. And I don't know what the cap hit would. I think if you were to trade or cut Russ with a post-June 1st designation, you would eat your cap medicine for sure for 1 year. And then you just go into a rebuild at that point. But if you're Sean Payton, you go back to the Saints, again, you're not starting Andy Dalton. Taysom Hill's a trinket player. Would you buy low on Russell Wilson? You wouldn't have to pay a whole lot to get him, I wouldn't think. Second round pick or something. Plus, if you want Sean Payton and you're one of these other teams, you have to trade for him. The Saints technically still hold his rights.
I think yes. And it's probably going to be like, I think, a first round pick. I think your prediction about Carr is probably more on point.
Could
I
see
think
it.
that's
So
a good
there's-
one because I don't think he's back there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, so there you go. So
Okay, I
Dennis
just was
Allen
curious
fired,
where it
Sean
came
Payton
from.
returns, new quarterback added to the Saints with at least 50 career NFL
Write it
starts.
down. You like
You
writing
were
things
swinging for
down?
the fences.
I am not here to mess around. I don't care about hitting 400. I just want to hit
I got
bombs,
the Wolves. I mean,
taters.
I feel like my Wolves predictions are small by comparison, and I got them basically moving.
Well, if you feel like you're good at predictions, maybe you should try Underdog Fantasy, Declan.
Oh my gosh, boys! I think we have the biggest winner slip we have ever seen. Look at Josh, 5 picks for 4,000
Oh my God.
Look at
big
that, dude.
ones.
Oh
And
my
as you see here in the bottom right circle of each of these predictions, a little red circle. So Underdog Fantasy at halftime will set new lines for just the second half. So Josh saw the first half play out, saw these over-unders on Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson, Danny Dimes, Saquon Barkley, etc., and said, you know what? I'm a hammer all of these. And he walks away with a big fat payday from our friends at Underdog Fantasy, which is the best and easiest way to play fantasy sports. Join with promo code SCORE, SKOR. They'll match your first deposit up to $100 for a new user. Go download the Underdog Fantasy app.
All right, boys. Those are the Write That Down predictions.
Write this down.
The only show in America that puts statistics next to our predictions. It's the most revolutionary segment in all of sports media. And now we have a random Wally Zerbiak bobblehead making
Look
an
at his
appearance
eyes
here.
on this one. Look at his eyes on this
He
one.
does look crazy.
Look at how he looks like he's nuts.
Looks like he's going to say something to KG at practice and get punched. That's what it looks like.
Don't
All right,
do that.
we'll see you over on Purple Daily. Write that down for some football and Vikings centric predictions. Happy